Okay, so in this video, we're going to use our knowledge of transversals, angle pairs, and parallel lines to figure out all 8 angles in each diagram. Number 1, I see a pair of 2 parallel lines, and the way I know they're parallel is because they have this little arrow or symbol on the lines. So this line is parallel to this line. Now the neat thing is, if 2 lines are parallel to each other, then all of the angle pairs are congruent to one another. So vertical pairs are congruent to one another, corresponding angles are congruent to one another. So knowing that really helps us figure out all of the 8 angle measures. Now looking at this angle right here, 133, I can also say that this one right here, its vertical pair is 133. Now I know that these two are a linear pair, and if this is 133, then this number, when added to 133, must equal 180. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 133 from 180. 10 minus 3 is 7, 7 minus 3 is 4, 1 minus 1 is 0. So this angle measures 47 degrees. Okay, now if this measures 47 degrees, then this one right here also measures 47 degrees because these two are vertical pairs. So again, if you have 2 parallel lines, then vertical pairs are congruent. So 133, 133, 47, 47. Alright, now these measures are also going to be translated over here. So 133 corresponds with this angle, 47 corresponds with this one, and the same here, vertical angles are going to be congruent. Okay, and just like that, we have figured out all 8 angles from problem number 1. Alright, problem number 2. Again, we have a pair of parallel lines because we see this symbol right here. So again, vertical pairs are going to be congruent, and we want to remember the concept of linear pairs. Alright, linear pairs must add up to 180 degrees. So since this is 119, its vertical pair is also going to be 119. Now, these two are linear pairs, and again, linear pairs have to add up to 180. So 180 minus 119. 10 minus 9 is 1, 7 minus 1 is 6, 1 minus 1 is 0. So this is 119, and this is 61 degrees. So its vertical pair is also going to be 61 degrees. Again, these numbers, we're going to take them and we're going to translate them over here. This is 119, this is 61, this is 61, and this is 119. Problem number 3. Again, a pair of parallel lines because of the symbol right here. So vertical angles are going to be congruent. So this is 83 and this is 83. These two are linear pairs, so they have to add up to 180. So 180 minus 83. Gotta do some borrowing. 10 minus 3 is 7. 17 minus 8 is 9. So this one right here is 97. And A is also 97. Again, take these numbers, translate them over here. 83, 97, 97, and 83. Alright, so last one, problem number 4. For this problem, we're going to have to set up an equation. And the reason we're going to have to set up an equation is because they gave us expressions, and that really doesn't tell us too much about the angle measurements right now. But let's figure out how these two expressions are related to one another. How do they compare? What kind of relationship do they have? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this to the side to kind of better help me see the parallel lines. And if I can see the parallel lines better and the transversal cut through them, then it helps me understand where my corresponding angles are, where my linear angles are, and where my vertical pairs are, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to number these angles. So this is number angle 1, angle 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they gave us the measure for angle 4, and they told us angle 4 is equal to 5x plus 2. And they gave us angle 5, and they told us it's equal to 8x minus 34. Now, how do they compare to one another? Well, the way they compare to one another is that they're alternating interior angles. Okay, so since they're alternating interior angles, they're also equivalent to one another. So since they're equivalent, I'm going to set up the equation 5x plus 2 is equal to 8x minus 34. Alright, the first step in solving this equation is I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. And that leaves me with 3x minus 34. Now I'm going to add 34 to both sides. And that gives me 36 equals 3x. And I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And that leaves me with x is equal to 12. Now what I'm going to do for this variable, or the value for this variable, is I'm going to plug it into these two formulas to figure out what they are exactly equivalent to. So I'm going to start with angle 4. Angle 4 they said was 5x plus 2. I'm going to plug in 12 for my x. Five times 12 is 60, plus 2 is 62. So the measure of angle 4 is 62 degrees. Now if we did this correctly, we should also get 62 degrees for angle 5. So I'm going to plug in 12 for x. They told us angle 5 was 8x minus 34. Plug in my 12. 8 times 12 is 96, minus 34 is 62. Alright, which makes sense again because they're supposed to be equivalent to one another. Now knowing that these are 62, we can find the measures of their linear pairs. Now angle 4 is angle 3's linear pair, so in order to find the measure or the amount for angle 3, I'm going to subtract 62 from 180. Ten minus 2 is 8, 7 minus 6 is 1, 1 minus 1 is 1. 1 minus 0 is 1. So now angle 3 is 118 degrees. Angle 4 is 62 degrees. Its vertical pair, angle 1, is also 62 degrees. Angle 3's vertical pair is also 118 degrees. We're going to take these numbers, translate them down. We already found out that angle 5 was 62 degrees as well. And so is its vertical pair, angle 8. Angle 6, its linear pair is 118. And its vertical pair, angle 7, is also 118.